pledges life-saving package of COVID-19 vaccine support to Global South at Progressive International Briefing. I'm gonna tell you something. It is immoral as hell, and we gotta be educated about what's happening in the world and not always believe the hype. And even if two countries have a grudge against one another, when it comes to a worldwide global pandemic, you still gonna play games with people's lives? That is exactly what happened. And the United States of America was leading the band on this. It is, to quote the mayor, disgusting. Go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, I just real quick. It's absolutely disgusting. Those are big numbers. 300,000 here and 1.5 million. It was unpatriotic for any president to refuse Cubans' help. It was unpatriotic when George Bush did it for the black people in 2015 after the flood, when Cuba offered to send people over. It is just disgusting.
Yeah, no, it is, Mayor. And just for the life of me, I just don't get it. And like I said, the willingness. We're just gonna stay here. We got a few more minutes left in the show. They sacrificed lives over this, and it really does not make any sense to me. I liken this also to how are we gonna deal as a world with the climate crisis too? Are you gonna hold grudges against? I could visualize. This is what happened. World leaders need to come together. They come together to make war. Why can't they come together to make peace, to give people peace of mind, peace of heart, peace of spirit, lifting people, come together in that way, and really dealing with the first variant of the Omicron would have been a way to do that. And I think the second thing that we must tackle as a world is the climate chaos. But they did not care. This callous indifference, and we know in the continent of Africa, the suffering was immense.
Yeah, I think I'm sad and sitting here thinking about how this country plays on and their influence to stop. If I was India, we talking about what's illegal during war. We should be talking about what's illegal during calm times, peaceful times, because this idea that this many people are dead, this many families are affected by loss of loved ones because of geopolitical politics. It's scary, and also this does not ring true for a country that calls itself the greatest country in the world. Not just because of the loss of American lives, but what it's doing to the businesses and the great minds in Cuba that had the sense to develop these two vaccines from scratch, not with free technology like these companies. Go ahead.
And we're willing, and Marin, we're willing to share it with the world. But that is our time today. So happy to have the mayor with me. Fridays is our day. And we appreciate each and every one of you for spending your time with us today. Thank you for everybody that sent their comments in. We could not get to all of them, but we love and appreciate you so very much. You know what we want you to do about this time. Always, always, always keep the faith. No matter what we face, change can come. We can make change happen. So keep the faith. But now you know what you got to do. You got to marry some fight with that faith. Until next time.
Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. What's up, Ma? Thank you for all of the cold remedies, Ma. Appreciate you. Welcome to the watch list, everyone. I'm taking it slow because I've had one of the worst weeks of my life. Let's keep it real. But we're breathing through it. Barely, but we're here. I'm glad you guys are with me on a Friday episode. Trust me, the excitement would normally be there. I'm just trying to generate it out of the lack of energy that I've got. So you know what? I mean, how about just like a casual gesture? Like, subscribe, maybe even share that damn stream. Also, when we put these clips up of the fabulous show that we have today, you'll also maybe want to do that as well over there. Let them know what we're doing here. As a matter of fact, that energy that I needed though, maybe a little boost, maybe a little bit of ghost energy drink type of boost. Francesca Fiorentini joins me on this show. She's a comedian, Rebel HQ contributor, also the host of the Bituation podcast. What the hell? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, yeah. Habituation Room, everybody check it out at Franny Fio. Got a show coming up on Tuesday. It'll be good. I'm glad you're back. You've been missed.
I'd like to say it. I wish I was feeling better that I'm back. I am back though because I can't leave you guys for that long. So please understand when you guys are, of course, sharing the stream and the videos of everything that's going on, just tell them, no, I'm not submerged in water. It's just from here up, it's liquid.
Oh,
just so you know. Hi.
I'm sure Ghost will fix all of that.
It's, you know what? Every sip I take,
get stronger.
I think I get a little bit stronger, or I'm gonna pass out afterwards. You guys tell me all the bad things that are in the Ghost energy drink because I looked it up and they told me that it's safe. You guys let me know. Everyone knows more than I do.
Ghost doesn't lie. I mean, if there's one thing that I would trust, it's an energy drink called Ghost, flavored like a Sour Patch Kid. I'm like, oh wow, this is the Old Testament.
Not any Sour Patch Kid, Francesca. Red Berry Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a staple for everyone. My child loves the red ones. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and do it. This is the kind of show it's gonna be because a little foggy, but it's still gonna be great. Some things went down last night on Fox News, similar things that had happened a couple of weeks ago on CNN. Donald Trump showed up and he had things to say. Many of those things were lies. Of course they were, but some of them were a little surprising. Let's go ahead and start here. He sat down with Sean Hannity.
I've interviewed you all these years. I've known you almost 30 years. And people ask me and say to him, why does he have to fight so hard? Why doesn't he pick his fights a little more? Why does he have to call people names? That maybe you're in the middle a little more. And the argument that they make to me is, if he would just tone it down a hair, stop a little of the name calling. Hang on. I said it's their question. Leave me alone. All right. What do you say to them?
Okay, you ready? And I say this to everybody. I won an election. It was unprecedented. We beat somebody that supposedly had it made, and they probably did things in that election too. We need courage in this country, or we're going to lose our country. All right.
Donald Trump sat down with Sean Hannity for a town hall. Maybe this one would go a little bit differently than the one that he did on CNN. So Sean just asked, I think, a pretty basic question. It wasn't his, as he pointed out. Why do you have to fight so much? Why do you have to do the name calling? Doesn't it turn some people off? It just might help you. There's so many times that people have told Donald Trump what he probably could do to help himself when it comes to electorally, or at least from those few supporters that go, he bristles, and he can't do it. Even the audience there, they're supporting his nonsense, so that's why he'll keep doing it. But by the way, before he even came on, Handy wanted to make sure he knew this was not gonna go the same route that CNN did with Caitlin Collins and her talking and stuff, or reality, or facts and things like that. As a matter of fact, it became a news story over on the Daily Beast. They pointed it out. Said Handy vows not to fact check Trump during their town hall, their upcoming town hall. And I think he fulfilled his promise. Here's a piece from that. The Fox News host took issue with the rival network CNN's live town hall event last month, during which the moderator Caitlin Collins repeatedly corrected Trump. How dare she? Here's a quote. People can fact check Trump's answers all they want afterward, but the reality is I want to hear what he has to say in his own words and actually let him finish a thought, which was not very common during the CNN town hall. Pause for a second here, Francesca. You can say what you want on this if you'd like, but you know, I bring up Subway and McDonald's as the two very basic, normal, lower level jobs that people have where their responsibilities are so much higher than someone who's running for effing president. If you go into Subway and you say, how much is the foot long BLT? And they go, it's $24.99, sir. And then someone else from the back says, yo, Barry, it's actually 10. Don't correct me right now, I'm working with a customer. Well, we need some reality because we're about to have an exchange here. Maybe some reality and some facts and information that I'm looking for that should be real, should be portrayed, rather than us just hearing someone lie and go, you can fact check whether or not you got overcharged later. First,
Fake
we need
news.
to lie to you.
Fake news, it's $24. Yeah, I mean, it's actually just $3, but I pocket the rest. I make about $21 per foot long. Anyway, I like where you're going on that.
That's my fault.
No. You're right. I mean, both Sean Hannity and Donald Trump have a responsibility to do their job. I mean, Sean Hannity, I think, looks more ridiculous in this case because Trump is just a stream of consciousness from old man yelling at cloud. Like he is, Grandpa Simpson at this point. And we've seen what happens when Fox doesn't interrupt him to ask him a question, nothing pushing back. It is just a diatribe. It's like 3 minutes later, and everyone's like, Mr. and he'll just keep going and going and going and going. So I think that's amazing and hilarious. And of course, him not wanting to at all manicure his image, change it up. Why? Why would he when it's gotten him this far? I mean, he did lose, let's be real. But also, but they're not taking the lessons from 2020 they should be taking. I mean, I think you see there Hannity is concerned about losing maybe voters who switched to vote for Biden in 2020, which there were. You see him losing in the suburbs, especially women, which that he is. And he's asking a legitimate question. That's why a lot of folks are running to the arms of Ron DeSantis. The problem is DeSantis sucks. Like, if DeSantis were a bigger threat to Trump, Trump might say something different. The audience might not have booed. But so far, man, why switch it up? It's like folks asking us Bernie bros for me to be like, don't you think Bernie should, just like stop talking about income inequality? And we're like, no, we love the hits. We want the hits. And it's a real thing. It's like that, except, for racists.
100%. And so again, this is the approach they openly want to take. They'll say it. We're not looking for truth here. And sadly, people will watch and they'll cheer it when someone actually says they want a little bit of that. There's more that happened. I want to get another clip from this though, because Trump was also talking about some of the issues he's got. One of those being the classified documents problem, which continues to grow and actually looks like something's gonna come of that as well, legally, with another investigation, another potential charge, because he talks too much. And oddly, one of those things that he was saying was on CNN's town hall that maybe will add to this fire. Here he is talking about his document problem.
There's a special counsel that's appointed, and news broke yesterday that there might be a tape recording that, quote, where you acknowledge that you understood that these were classified documents. First of all, do you know who this call may be with? Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about it. All I know is this: everything I did was right. We have the Presidential Records Act, which I abided by 100%. Biden has 1,850 boxes with a lot of classified stuff that he's not supposed to have in his case. I have the right to declassify as president. He's got 1,850 boxes that he doesn't want anyone to see. He had 7 or 8 boxes in Chinatown in Washington, D.C., where nobody even speaks English in Chinatown. Chinatown is it's in favor of China.
Someone help me follow what that means and why this has anything to do with, again, Handy asked about an audio recording where it sounds like Donald Trump is talking about bragging over his illegal activity with stolen documents. Biden had his issues with it as well. But there's boxes in Chinatown, Francesca. They're in Chinatown where apparently no one speaks English whatsoever. So if there's classified documents in Chinatown where no one speaks English, that means it's at a higher risk.
That's basically like selling the documents to China if it isn't at a residency in Chinatown. I only sold it to, the UAE and Saudi Arabia and Israel, and really whoever wanted to could see it. It was basically like my show and tell item, But like his ability to descend into, again, like old man xenophobe brain, like no matter what he's being asked, is just, it's something to behold. It's majestic how much he can be derailed into some racist rant.
100%, and he'll live there. It goes back to the original point. That's what gets him the votes and support that he's got. That's where he's got. He's thinking about it clearly. Let's go to this next story, though, you guys. That was the town hall. I don't like sticking on that too long because who cares? He's going to say those lies. We'll hear him again at the next stump speech or at the next town hall. We'll talk about it, though. We got to keep you updated on what this guy's up to. There are things going on down in North Carolina, though. I'm glad you brought up Bernie and those bros because all they're ever talking about is wage inequality, healthcare, American people actually thriving in the country that they're supposed to be living in rather than dying in. And he had help from one well-known reverend. Let's go here.
Budget does not line up with our constitutional values. It does not line up with our faith and Christian values. It does not line up with human rights values. It's a lie, and it needs to be thrown. The people rise. The people rise. Let the people rise. I tell you, it's going on. Whoa, somebody's hurting our families, and it's going on. Therefore, we demand a budget process that includes the people of this state and all of the lawmakers who represent them. Open the door. What are you scared of? What are you scared of?
Reverend William Barber there out in North Carolina. This was back in May when he was pushing against this legislature passed budget that would harm the poorest citizens in the state. He believes, and so do these supporters, because they've looked into it. And of course, when you do something like this, it gets these types of Republicans and these lawmakers up in arms. Well, he took it a step further. He joined Bernie Sanders in pushing the Rally to Raise the Wage campaign this week. He's talking about the problem with the federal minimum wage being too low. They're trying to change these things because America, that's what they're pushing for. But instead, this is what the North Carolina Republican Party said in response. Again, about raising the wage for everyone. The tweet read, Socialist Bernie Sanders is teaming up with poverty pimp William Barber to hold a rally with North Carolina Democrats in Durham today. While the North Carolina Democratic Party embraces Sanders' push to make us more like his beloved USSR, see if you can figure out what the hell that connection is, Republicans work to protect the good old timeless values of the USA. The good old timeless values of the USA. When you call this reverend, which in the tweet you didn't say reverend, you said William Barber because you guys push the whole Christianity and religious thing until it's someone that you don't like, a poverty pimp. William Barber responded on Twitter. He says, never fall for the diversion. Keep the focus on the issues of living wages that impacts 2 million low-wage workers in every race in North Carolina. We're fighting for all of them and forward together. Really fast. This is what the North Carolina Republican Party thinks a poverty pimp is. Barber's a longtime North Carolina pastor and an activist. Keep thinking about poverty pimp. His two organizations, the Poor People's Campaign and Repairers of the Breach, advocate for social and economic justice across the country. Poverty pimp. After 10 years as president of the North Carolina NAACP, Barber rose to national fame for promoting the tenets of his Moral Monday movement, which is a series of peaceful protests that urged lawmakers to reject what Barber called regressive and extremist policies. Francesca, the implications of using the term poverty pimp. I mean, off the top, let me give you my thoughts. Poverty. It's a bad thing. Apparently, if you're advocating for people to get out of it, you're a pimp. If you're a pimp, you're exploiting women for your own gain sexually. Sending them off to folks, putting them in danger. In fact, you're the danger yourself. Exploiting them for work like that. So connect that to black people because obviously Barber is a black man. Also, he's about that poverty. So if you put poverty and pimp together, he's as black folks are in their mind, they're all in poverty by their own means or own faults, the folks that are. And they're pimps as well. Not only that though, somehow fighting for people to have a higher wage is pimping them.
Yep.
Not actually advocating for them, it's pimping them. What is he getting from that $17 an hour? I have a feeling Reverend Barber isn't worried about making $17 an hour at his stage in his life. And lastly here, You ever hear about how Republicans talk about how, the shortcomings of the federal government or even state governments funding healthcare, schooling, things like that? And they said, you know what? Our local churches should get involved. You guys shouldn't actually have to care about the government, give taxes to. Churches should be a part of it because Christians and Christianity are the best people in our country. So trust in them randomly, whether they're doing it or not. Hey, here's a guy who's a Christian, a leader, a faith leader, and you're downgrading him to poverty pimp because he's looking to help folks. Where's the actual morals? Where is your actual principles?
I so appreciate that, and you're absolutely right. And I so appreciate this story because Reverend William Barber has done incredible work for years now, and everyone should know his name. Everyone should know the Moral Mondays movement. Everyone should know the work he's done for voting rights, against extreme gerrymandering, against extremism in North Carolina, and now with the Poor People's Campaign around the nation. I don't even know if he makes $17 an hour himself doing what he does so effortlessly, so tirelessly and with a lot of effort. But here's my one thing. Just attack, Rev. Like, I want him to attack because I think it's great that the GOP responded because it shows they're scared. They've been scared of Reverend William III. They've been scared of him for a while because he's been leading this movement against all of their shenanigans. He knows their names, they know his, and now he's calling them a poverty pimp. Yes, insane amounts of, come on, disrespect and racism. Yeah, and then, but it's I think it's good because if the GOP's ire gets up, they call somebody a poverty pimp, you're in the limelight, right? I think he's gotta hammer them back, tell them, say something. But again, he's the Reverend and he, I don't know, follows the teachings of someone who supposedly had an incredible amount of loving kindness and benevolence and turned the other cheek himself, and that's Jesus Christ. Except if you are a Republican and you profess to love Jesus Christ, but don't actually feed the poor the way that he did.
I'd love that you made that comparison because look, the way that they like to teach or say that they follow the teachings of someone who was persecuted, but all his own mindset was helping those less fortunate than him, bringing them to the light, helping them understand, live a better life, and actually bring them to the teachings of Christianity, right? Yeah. So in this case, he's a poverty pimp for looking to help folks. So what's their plan? Someone should have asked them. By the way, they haven't responded to any questions about what does they mean by that garbage. But what it turns into is, so you're against people making $17 an hour. What are you for?
Right.
And then think about who's the poverty pimp in this situation. Rich people that are calling someone else a poverty pimp while they deny someone $17 an hour, which by the way, if they had to make, these legislators had to make $17 an hour, they jump off an effing bridge. Let's take our first break, you guys. I'm curious what you have to say. Please let me know what the hell is in this Ghost energy drink and if I should be drinking it. Because apparently I'm getting onslaught from all these folks here that think they know what they're talking about. Looking forward to your comments. But also when we come back though, we have flying cars. It's not the Jetsons. It's a little bit more exciting than I gotta be honest. Let's do that, tons more when we get back.
Welcome to Indisputable. I'm your host, Dr. Rashad Richard. We got a lot happening today. But what do we do on this show? We tell the truth. You know why we tell the truth? Because the truth is simply indisputable.
Rashad, great to be here. Congratulations on the new show. And I gotta let everybody know that Rashad and I go way back.
Here's the pattern that we see in all of these Karen stories. They think they own stuff they do not own. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, maybe slavery. Maybe they think they should still own black people.
This is what happens when Karens weaponize the police.
When you're used to privilege, equality seems like oppression.
It hits you in a certain way when someone is holding you against your will, treating you like you're a criminal and you're an innocent person. This is something that black people face no matter where they are.
A stronger black economy lends itself to a stronger, greater economy. Don't think it's exclusive of you, it's inclusive of you.
What's your beef with critical race theory?
It adds more fuel to the fire of the racist tendencies that we already have.
We have a generation of problem solvers that can remedy the problem if they are properly taught what the problem is.
You know who created redlining in this country? It was the white liberal.
I don't give a damn who created it. If it's a racist policy, Shelley, here's what I don't know. I don't know. See, there you go filibustering, brother. You're scared of this truth, but you're gonna get it, though.
Climate is changing fundamentally, extremely, and non-linearly. It's becoming worse now. It's not when the levees burst that is the problem. It's in the anticipation of that.
So I hope every human being is safe. And by human beings, I do not include multinational corporations, especially the ones that started climate change in the first place.
What we're currently doing right now in cutting emissions is clearly not enough. There will be ramifications to what Trump is doing. I don't want people to suffer, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of suffering because we have an imbecile as our leader.
Watch this, you guys. Thoughts, prayers. Lynn, TYT member, says, JR, thank you for allowing us to end the week with you. Hope you feel 100% soon. So do I. So do I, Lynn. Mountain Dragon, Seaman Assassin 420 apparently as well. Says, Franny's the best. You can lighten up a serious situation to help us get through the tough news. And this is pretty timely. They also say, thank you so much and hope the little one is healthy and happy. I can confirm good. I just discovered that, yes, she is.
She's adorable.
And quite cute. Over on Twitch, you guys, love you. On Twitch, Hogwarts Emo Dragon says, Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly are the worst Irishmen I've ever met. Well, hopefully you haven't met them. But if you have, I hope you told them that.
O'Reilly.
See if is this an ongoing thing, Francesca?
What?
Me Sevson Medici on Twitch says, Fiorentini Lamborghini. Are you from the Lamborghini family?
No.
Can I maybe hold a couple $100,000?
Yeah, could I just hold it? No, I wish. I used to say my name when I was little, like Francesca Fiorentini, tortellini, fettuccine, linguine, and I would just say all the pastas. I thought it was hilarious.
And you did not add Lamborghini. This is a problem.
I didn't know it was a pasta. If Lamborghini were a pasta, I would have said it.
Lastly, this lady randomly, her name is Bessie Jackson over on YouTube says, feel better, my son as well as my son. Thank you, Ma. I didn't do any of that stuff that you told me to do. All right, let's go ahead and go to this next story, you guys. Let's get back to it before she texts me. Let's go to this story out of Georgia.
Good. At their line 1050 rollover. 1,000 EMS immediate roll. Previous 1050, 84 west. At their line 1050 rollover.
Oh, damn. Did you see that? I mean, first off, there's something going on the right side of the road, but this is in Lowndes County, Georgia. Check out the air that this lady gets off of this truck ramp, which was supposed to be towing away cars. Apparently that one got towed away again. Let's listen and watch again because I kind of like the response of that officer, which apparently is the only one who ran to her aid because everyone else was like, that was cool. But listen to him and go, damn, I love that part. Watch again, the whole thing.
Good.
God damn.
Let's not forget they're arresting someone on the side of the road. My fault. I thought it was an accident, but there's some folks getting arrested. Hopefully it was lawful. Still, there's a 21-year-old woman who's driving that car, and miraculously, as well as a passenger, nobody was killed in that devastating accident. We don't know why she didn't see this big ass truck in front of her that she launched off of, but here's some more details. More
Watch again as the car takes off using the back of the tow truck as a de facto runway, then flies 120 feet in the air before crashing to the ground, smashing into another vehicle. Deputies in Lowndes County, Georgia, were already on location responding to another arrest following a traffic stop along Highway 34.
That is definitely not something we see every day as Georgia State troopers.
This morning, officials confirm a 21-year-old woman from Tallahassee was behind the wheel of the car. She survived with serious injuries and is still recovering in the hospital in stable condition.
The crash is still under investigation, but all we're worried about is that she heals and that she gets better.
A deputy was hit by flying debris and suffered minor injuries and was released from the hospital the same day. Officials are reminding people to remain attentive when traveling at high speeds.
Officials remind drivers not to launch themselves off the back of ramps of tow trucks. By the way, there's a lot going on here, Francesca. As I was watching that ABC News or Good Morning America, a video and recapping there was a car upside down in the middle of the grass as well. So whoever's getting arrested must have caused a devastating accident. As we're just going through this, if you guys see it, pause it on it. In the middle of the grass, there's a car with wheels up before she launches her car over it. These folks had a lot to deal with. Watch this. After you see the truck, the guy gets a little bit closer. I'm gonna let you talk, I promise, Francesca. But there's a car that is upside down. And I think the ABC News report was zoomed in more and it showed it where all those people are collected to the right side next to that Dodge Durango. There's a car on its head. Sorry.
Okay, look, I know it's my first instinct is why didn't she see this tow truck? Why didn't she slow down? Was she distracted? I can't believe none of this. A lot of respect to all the stunt doubles and all the, every Hollywood, action sequence cars going off of things and Tom Cruise, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is, why the hell was that tow truck in the left lane?
I thought it was on the shoulder, was it?
No, I don't think you go at that speed on a shoulder. That looks like the tow truck was in their lane. It looks like it was a 2-lane highway. They're in their lane. So that's why they were going that fast. That's what can happen. Thank God the ramp was down instead of not, because they would have been dead had they hit it with that speed, right? So I'm looking at the glass half full on this one.
Well, that no one died?
Yeah, that the ramp was down and they flew off of it versus just smacking right into it.
And let's keep it real. I assume maybe tow truck driver, some personnel with them standing in front with that bright yellow reflective jacket on. If you're in that truck and that car comes through, it's not like the truck was unscathed. That car hit the back of that truck as well, the cabin part of that truck as well. A lot of bad things could have happened that thankfully did not happen here. So anytime, by the way, this is the weird thoughts I have when I'm driving. I've seen those car carrier trucks with the little ramp on the bottom. There's the upper level and the lower level.
Right.
And I thought, I could swing in there. I'm a pretty good driver. I'm good at lining.
Just drive up in there.
You know, when I go to the car wash and they try and line you up with the wheel lines, it looks like you have trouble with that. The way I mentioned it, you dropped your head like you're ashamed of your bad skills.
No. It's your sort of toxic masculinity, JR, being like, I could do that, man. It's like I'm really good at lining up my guy.
I feel like I could. I'm probably wrong. But when you see something like that, maybe half of your thought is, I can hit it, but I can hit it. Maybe she fell asleep, who knows? Either way, she and her 30-year-old passenger were apparently partially minor, they left with minor injuries. It's devastating. Let's go to this next story. I just wanted to see it because it's outrageous what went down. Back to depressing news. Let's go back over to Matt Walsh and what's happening at Twitter.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that? Well, you're at the Women's March. You must have some idea. Please, if one person could tell me what a woman is.
You are not here for women. We ask you to leave.
What is that?
Matt Walsh and his film, I was gonna say many other things about that film. What is a woman? It's been highly anticipated by conservatives that want to keep pushing this division and hatred towards certain groups of people, and he's obliged and he's making money off it. But the one problem is in order to make money off it, he's trying to promote it on Elon Musk's Twitter. There's a problem with that though, because the Daily Wire, who Matt Walsh works with, said this about this launch. Twitter cancels the deal with the Daily Wire to stream What is a Woman over misgendering and will label the film, quote, hateful conduct. This is what they said inside that article. After Elon Musk's takeover of the social media platform and his promised dedication to free speech, the Daily Wire sought a deal to stream his What is a Woman on Twitter for the documentary's 1-year anniversary. It's been out for a minute. And initially, Twitter responded enthusiastically to the idea, even offering the Daily Wire a package to purchase a whole page for Twitter users to view the film, is what Boring said. And that changed after the platform asked to view a screening of the film. And this is Jeremy Boring, the head there over at Daily Wire, talking about that. He says Twitter canceled that deal with Daily Wire to premiere What is a Woman for free on the platform because of 2 instances of, quote, misgendering, because apparently misgendering isn't a word. And he says, I'm not kidding. And he talked about it in a thread. Not only him, because look, remember Daily Wire had issues with Steven Crowder with over money and contracts and how much they'd give him, and if they cut him off if he said something super offensive because his name is Steven Crowder. Either way it goes, he even defended the Daily Wire on this back and forth. They are mad at Twitter and Elon. Watch.
We were going to potentially at one point co-stream to Twitter, and we saw some warning signs behind the scenes that I don't know. Again, this is something I've been warning, and of course, I've had my differences with Jeremy and Daily Wire. Of course, I think this is absolutely wrong. And Matt Walsh, especially if they paid for the package. No, they're absolutely right. And I think that it's great that he's getting his film out there. It's a message that needs to be heard.
Yes.
And it's remarkable that Twitter, and we said this would happen with Twitter. And this is the problem I have. Look, everyone knows YouTube, right? They're out in the open right now. You know exactly where they line up. When you have people putting on your team jersey, people at Twitter who think that they're on your side and they're not, that is far more dangerous than knowing who the enemy is. This is the issue. This is the issue. There is no way to have a sustainable movement if you are dependent on big tech.
Did I hear that wrong? When you have people at Twitter that are putting your team jersey on, then it's even more devastating when they do something like this. I remember this guy named Elon Musk said he bought Twitter to make sure that it was free speech across the board. Not to put a team jersey on, then disappoint that team by not tilting the scales towards them in their favor. It's like they're lying or something. Still, Elon Musk had some explaining to do, Francesca. This is what he said. Graphic 5, let's jump to that, please. He says this is a mistake by many people at Twitter. Way to take personal responsibility there, conservative guy. It's definitely allowed. Whether or not you agree with using someone's preferred pronouns, not doing so is at most rude and certainly breaks no laws. I should note that I do personally use someone's preferred pronouns, just as I would someone's preferred name, simply from the standpoint of good manners. However, for the same reason I object to rude behavior, ostracism, or threats of violence if the wrong pronoun or name is used. Weird that that's the line here, Francesca, after first saying, hey, it wasn't me, I'm just the guy who keeps telling you how Twitter is me and me and me and me until there's an issue with some conservatives and decisions that were made. Now it's no longer me, it's many other people at Twitter. Which people? Which people that are apparently still on the payroll, because you fired anybody that you didn't want there. Apparently they work still for you. But lastly, that last part, there's still that last twist of ostracism or threats of violence if the wrong pronoun is used. You mean ostracism or the threats of violence if someone says, hey, here, call me she, or call me they, or call me he? You talking about that kind? Or do you mean after they say that and then they're lambasted and attacked incessantly, then what do? There's this army of folks with pronouns that are coming to hurt you if you go, please stop hurting me, all you trans folks that are very aggressive. Well, we know they tried that line as well. I've talked enough. What are you thinking?
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's that's what it comes down to, is just like, I can't believe that the alpha male unit of the far right or the free speech warriors can't deal with people's pronouns. They just, they're so fragile. Like, you, again, stop telling on yourself. Happy Pride, everybody, okay? Live your truth, stop telling on yourself. If you're feeling extra fragile, extra homophobic, do some digging this month, okay? Look at all the folks living their effing lives and loving who they wanna love. But this is just, look, we're like, what, 2 weeks into after him naming a new CEO to the head of Twitter, Linda Yaccarino. I don't know. I had just assumed she's basically there to be the face where Elon continues to pull the strings. But hey, maybe this was a move that she made, and it's like, yeah, we've seen a dramatic increase in hate speech since Elon Musk came into, at the helm. So we could deal with 5% less hate speech against trans people on our very hateful against trans people platform. That might have been a smart corporate decision, I could see that. So it just, so him saying that makes me feel like, yeah, he's abdicated this particular role and responsibility. And once again, the right freaks out on it until, and for me, it's until Twitter relents and will absolutely allow Matt Walsh to publish this, ridiculous documentary. And there we go. And they will have won yet again. And big tech once again will have actually sided with them until the next time around, and they'll cry, oh, they're being persecuted by big tech.
I'm glad you said until they relent, because it has happened. Let's go down to graphic 6. This is what Matt Walsh tweeted out in response to Daily Wire, saying, it's the movie that they really don't want you to see. And they pointed it out and they said, watch it. And it was allowed. And Matt Walsh was quite happy. And I wanted you guys to, again, I want you to understand the way that this was written. It would be celebratory, you would think, because look, they're trying to make more money and have more people buy into the hate. The film has been shared 30,000 times in just the last couple of hours, is what Matt Walsh is saying. Once again, the left's efforts to censor and suppress have backfired in spectacular fashion. What a great way to ring in Pride Month. Okay. Graphic 3 again, if you guys can pull that. The head of Daily Wire, who I would assume is the boss of Matt Walsh, said Twitter canceled a deal with the Daily Wire to premiere What Is a Woman. When has Twitter become the left? Only when Matt Walsh, you can get up off that. Only once Matt Walsh says the left has come again for us and we win yet again. Here's some more BS with that last part of the line. So it's the Elon Musk and Twitter is the left. I thought you guys were celebrating how it's not that anymore.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. Also, at the back end of that, the left's efforts to censor and suppress have backfired in spectacular fashion. Not for the first time, but once again. So if the left keeps suppressing and trying to limit free speech and they keep losing, what are you bitching about? Don't you keep winning? All it is to keep you angry, aggressive, and thinking that there's some boogeymen coming for you. Even when you get your way, you go, see what we did? They never win. It's the same thing with Biden. Biden can't think until he's the mastermind behind everything that's bad in the world. Which one is it? Which one is it? I've got more to talk about. Let's go to this next story. I'm running out of damn time. Are we on E-Block, you guys? Let's go.
Hey, can I help you?
What makes you guys think it's right to fly that flag in a conservative town?
I mean, my right as a community member. Please get off my property before I call the police.
Call them all you want. It's not acceptable anymore.
Totally cool.
That flag is not accepted here.
And why exactly is it not acceptable?
Disgusting agenda.
What agenda? You're the one pushing your agenda, walking onto somebody else's property.
The bigotry is so strong in that guy out in Rogue River, Oregon, that he pulled over on the side of that road that appears to be just a quick side country road where people probably go 55, 60 miles an hour down, to stop and harass someone for a flag that they're hanging off of their house. I'm sure this guy probably thinks that homeownership and people's homes are their castles until he's upset about a flag. Was it a Confederate flag? Was it a F America flag? No, it was a pride flag that he was so upset about. As he left, when she was driving off, he said, "Get out of Rogue River," just in case they were worried about it. The victims here is Jessica Vanderslice. She moved to the area a couple years ago after she and her family lost their home in a fire in a larger town nearby. And they also have 3 children, ages 4 to 12, as he's talking about you should get out of town. Now, Vanderslice says that they're worried for their safety because that was the whole point of doing this. You think he's just voicing his opinion? Did he really think that, what's her name, Jessica? That Jessica Vanderslice would then go, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know who put that up there. Or you know what, I see the light now, let me take it down. It was to threaten her, and that's what's working. By the way, there's a little bit more, because after watching that local video though, local freelance reporter there did get the opportunity to call and catch up with him. His name is Charles Messmer. And he contacted him on the phone and asked him, why is he doing this? What's the objective here? And he had the same energy for this reporter. Watch.
Charles, hi. My name is Brad Smith. I'm a reporter, and I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Were you on Pine Street in Wood River on Wednesday?
Can I ask you a question real quick, sir?
Yeah?
Are you a member of Antifa?
No, I'm a reporter.
Why do you got Antifa on your profile?
It's probably because I just put it up for support. I'm not Antifa, but I support what they do. So why were you harassing?
Brad, let me tell you something real quick.
Yeah?
Hey. I want you guys to know you will not make it out of this. You will not bring your toxicity into our community. I will make sure that you guys do not thrive here. Goodbye.
I will make sure you guys don't thrive here. It's about threats, it's about violence, and it's about thinking that's getting his way. Before you jump in here, Francesca, he asked the reporter, "You a member of Antifa?" And the reporter was open about it. He was like, "Actually, no, but I like some of the stuff that they do." So, same question can be asked back to Mr. Messmer. Are you a member of the Proud Boys? Are you a member of the Klan? Are you an effing Nazi? What are you? Because you are espousing some of those beliefs as well.
No, it is what, like, first of all, I don't know what that reporter had. It could have been like, some kind of anti-fascist symbol, maybe, who knows what it was. Like, I jokingly on my show call my followers and our crew the Frantifa, because I think I'm proudly anti-fascist, and my name is Francesca, and it's very fun. But like, so I think that's an interesting sort of like little exchange the reporter and this guy had. But the real thing is, he is insanely scary. He is really scary, and he has been radicalized by right-wing media. You can hear it in his voice. He watches the Daily Wire, he watches Fox News, he's on the message boards, like he's just regurgitating. You're not gonna bring that toxic culture. Who knows? He's probably watching libs of TikTok, and you will not make it out of this. He didn't say alive, but it was implicit. We are going to make sure that you basically perish. Right? And we're talking Oregon, and Oregon, again, it can be, there's different parts of Oregon. It's a blue state, but it gets a little red the farther east you go. Same with Washington and that, and the sort of greater Idaho movement that we don't need to get into now. But I'm just gonna say, like, this is what people have to deal with in their everyday communities, man. Like random psychos who are like recluses, probably very armed, who are getting triggered by a pride flag and then, are lobbing threats at reporters. That's just normal ass MAGA stuff 100%. In the year 2023.
I always talk about, people don't understand. How is it that these words you guys think are so angry? Like me saying my belief systems doesn't hurt anyone. Prime example here of the same kind of rhetoric that then leads to people who think they need to act on it, which is what this guy Messmer did. By the way, so here it is. Vanderslice, the woman, Jessica Vanderslice, pointed out that ever since then, she was thinking maybe she'd get some support, but that didn't happen. She said, instead of finding community people helping me identify him, I was being attacked online and being told I was a weak liberal and a snowflake. And if I'm going to fly a controversial flag, then I should be willing to deal with the fallout from that. So I wonder if these same people think if someone flies the Nazi flag, it's controversial. I think they may agree with that. And you have to deal with the fallout from that. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that fallout from it? If you put up, if there's statues of racist Confederates that fought against this country to continue to hold their enslaved people, and you're upset about it and crying racist tears over it, should you be ready for the fallout over that controversial take? Because it's pretty damn controversial, unless you want to say it's not controversial to want to hold humans for slaves. Just wondering if that's what you are okay with. Because if it's controversial just to you, it's okay, and she should have to deal with threats. Should you? Because I think they have an issue with Antifa because they deem them as being threatening, and they're probably afraid because they're effing cowards. Still, I just wonder. It doesn't go both ways in their world, is what I've always noticed. But good news on the back end of it, though. Since this whole thing has gone viral, she has been getting some support, and there's been a flood of support from folks around about what it is that she's doing. But I'm still a little concerned for their safety. It's a maddening situation here.
I mean, this is the thing about, like, also, lastly, just they're, this guy's not necessarily, we don't know that he is armed, right? But I think we can at this point say he's dangerous. This is the kind of story that, like, in a few weeks, something happens, someone gets hurt and or targeted, and it's like, we never saw this coming. Gee, I don't know, Oregon's a blue state. It can't be gun laws. And it's like, no. This is the kind of man who should have a flag law warning on him, because he's issuing these kinds of threats over stuff like that. And we know where this could end. Anyway.
Let's shift gears. Go to this next story. There is a new woke corp. Oh man, this sucks. It's Chick-Fil-A. They're the latest victim to cancel culture from the right wing, actually is the case, because they hired a diversity, equity, and inclusion officer a year ago. Right now, they're catching hell for it because as we saw with Bud Light and with anything else, it takes conservatives about a year or two to get enraged about something, or election years to get enraged about something. Now, conservative outlets are digging up these old clips from Chick-fil-A to point out just how they've always been this bad, or maybe somewhat in the past few years have been so bad. Here's NewsMax playing this clip of Chick-fil-A CEO from 3 years ago. He was in interaction with a black man, and about the racial tensions specifically surrounding the George Floyd protests and murder that happened. And this is what the CEO of Chick-fil-A did on camera that pissed all these people off. Now, watch.
I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too.
So, I'll let you take it, Chris. I'm wondering why he bypassed the white person next to him and had to do the shining of the black person's shoes. Listen, he's religious. Okay, what's wrong with all people? But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, that was humiliating. Again, I don't know why he didn't shine the shoes of every person in that room. I think it would be funny if someone maybe showed up in flip-flops. Maybe he would shine the flip-flops, but it's pretty ridiculous to just assume that Chick-fil-A, I'm hesitant to make a fried chicken joke, but they sell fried chicken. I don't know how much more inclusive we can get here.
Well, that kind of does it. Choose the good guys and bad guys in this situation. But there was actually a metaphor that he was comparing it to, and all these good Christians on the conservative side that find themselves in these racist lines, like they got fried chicken there. I'm not sure how much more inclusive they can be, except that white folks love fried chicken. Still, this is what he was referring to, that CEO, and he was doing the shoe shining, which he wasn't doing anyway. Anyone with literacy would actually understand that this is the problem that comes with things at a church, because he's done things about roundtable discussions about race at his church before. It was comparative to that story from the Bible where Jesus cleaned the feet, washing the feet of his disciples as a respect. Someone from his stature could do something like that, and you can work with other folks in that. Taking care of your neighbor, and it doesn't matter who you are. Something that these Christians that happen to find themselves in political discussions completely forgot. But what these people on this NewsMax program discovered was this line that they put at the bottom of the screen. This Chick-fil-A CEO demands, because that's what he did there, you saw it, Christians to shine shoes of black people. Because, black folks aren't Christians. Only good white people are. And why would they force these good Christians who are superior to everyone else to demean themselves like this guy that they worship named Jesus to shine the shoes of these non-humans, black people? Where is Christianity headed these days? Really fast, because the response after that racist ass joke that guest on NewsMax said, it got pretty uncomfortable. And there's a familiar face that wasn't very comfortable either. Watch more.
I'm hesitant to make a fried chicken joke, but they sell fried chicken. I don't know how much more inclusive we can get here.
Dave Rubin, let's talk a little bit about how the left hated Chick-Fil-A and Dan Cathay and just despised him. And now, are we going to see the boycotts that Bud Light has experienced, even boycotts at Target and, North Face and others? Even Fox News has seen for going more woke.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll see boycotts to that extent because, especially with Target. Well, I think it's partly people freaking love this chicken sandwich.
It's partly because people love this freaking chicken sandwich. There's times when I watch what Dave Rubin's response is to things as he's talking with these people that he's made his friends. And he's like, oh, I wish you didn't say that while I'm here because I can't say that's disgusting. Because that's what he was thinking. Francesca, your thoughts on all
I don't know. That I just, I think it's really funny though that Chick-fil-A, this week, in addition, obviously that's why they're talking about it and dredging up that random clip and then rehashing it and being weirdly racist all over again. But is, that they hired a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for Chick-fil-A. And it makes sense. I mean, look, I'm someone who hasn't had a Chick-fil-A sandwich in part because I don't want to support their anti-gay BS, right? They're incredibly religious. They're closed on Sundays or whatnot. And I don't know, they did they've advocated for a bunch of anti-gay legislation, and I forgot the whole, but I was just they're a toxic brand for me. I'm just it's off limits in my mind. Now I know if I ever had one, I'd be like, wow. But what I'm saying is we're in Pride Month. It is not beneficial for corporations to have an outward reputation as being discriminatory, as being hateful, as being a place that's only for some people and not for others. It's not a good look, right? And so all this stuff about pride and whatnot, and a lot of folks will call it rainbow washing, basically trying to make yourself sort of corporate look like you're great, even though behind the scenes you're not, which is totally real. So Chick-fil-A wants in on that. They're tired of having the the sort of Christian extremist, again, reputation be thrust on them. They're we need to actually fix this.
Yeah, because they're thinking about some future profits. My biggest problem, Francesca, is I get a taste for Chick-fil-A only on Sundays. Damn it. Anyways, last story before my head explodes. Joe Biden, he fell again. We saw it. But I have thoughts though. I think it means a little bit more. Let's go. It's coming. President Biden showed up and then he showed down at the US Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, speaking there, and damn it, that floor jumped out from under him and tripped him up yet again. I heard about this a couple days ago or yesterday when it happened, and I was like, again, or are we rehashing this? No, it's again. He arrived back to the White House, and because there was a sandbag on the stage, probably holding something down, that's what he didn't see, and he blamed that culprit in a different way. Watch. With a little hop to his step. I gotta be honest, I tripped over. There was a sandbag in here too, holding things down. I tripped over one of those, hit my knee on a light, and trust, I was not hopping back around. Extra words came out. But if I was 80 years old, I'm not sure how old Biden is. I'm a little impressed by the hop afterwards though. There's implications to this. First, your thoughts on the fall and the response, I guess.
I mean, yeah, false flag fall. It was definitely an op. It was a sandbag op, and it's a trip. So I want to just correct the record. Not a fall. It's a trip. He tripped over a sandbag. And here's my real thing. It was the trying to get up part that was the most worrisome. But then, because he looks even more fragile trying to get up, he can't really. Then I realized this is the president of the United States. I see that suit. That's a nice ass suit. That's a tapered suit. That's very tailored. It fits him well. All right. I can say that without being weird. It's not easy to get up from the ground in a nice fitting suit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you need kind of help. So that's the other thing. He looked. Yeah, exactly. So them's my thoughts.
Yeah, and also, by the way, this, if you're older, the joint thing, if you're just getting snatched up by your wrist and elbow, you're like, that could be actually another issue.
That's
we
true.
saw Mitch McConnell in the hospital for months over a fall. It happens for older folks,
In the
and
shower.
it's a hard recovery. Was it steps or a shower? One of those things.
I think he takes like 15 a day, given what he does in Washington.
He has to get the shell clean before he slips back in. I do want your thoughts on this, though. We have like a minute, maybe a minute and a half left. Because this is one of those things. Look, the fall happened. It happened again. The jokes come, of course, from political opponents, which it's going to happen. It's fine. I honestly don't care about that stuff. Some of them are actually sometimes funny, especially since he's okay. So this is as we go into the campaign and the launch of the 2024, and Biden has announced his re-election bid. I don't necessarily think so personally, but I do think a certain percentage of people begin to go, it's a little fragile here. Look, if Mitch McConnell started running for president, I'd go, yo, he just showed up again with a black guy from walking out the front door. Dianne Feinstein, we've been harping on that for a while.
Wow.
It's real. So you wonder if people start going, I don't know if he has the physical capabilities to be as strong as he could be.
Oh, I think he absolutely does compared to the competition there. I saw him run out, him going, I got sandbagged, and then just sort of jogging in place. Yeah. Robinette's back, baby.
But will they believe that after seeing this instead? I do, yeah.
Robinette's back. No, it's true. Worry. Everyone's old, JR, but everyone who's also old is also worse. It's been a great show.
Appreciate you, Francesca. It has been a great show. I need to go breathe. Thank you guys for being with me on a Friday. Sorry I missed the week. I can't wait to see you guys for a full week next week. Hopefully I get over this for the weekend. We're gonna figure it out. Missed you guys though. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you on Monday. But up next is the Young Turks. They have a power panel. It's gonna be powerful. See you later.